So before I connect to my catheter, I have to again go downstairs and wash my hands using the 5-step technique, but do that twice. So it's a double hand wash uh, with soap and water again. It's just doing the 5-step technique, but twice. So now I'm back and I'm going to gel my hands again using the 5-step technique. So I'll open the connection shield first, and you noticed in the connection shield there's like a yellow type of liquid again, and that's called iodine in there, and it's used to sterilize the connection shield to make sure there are no bacteria or germs go inside of your system when you connect to the catheter. So you see inside the connection shield that yellow type of liquid on the sponge, and you have to be careful not to touch the inside of that sponge either, or the connection shield, just to make sure again that there's no germs. So again, I'm going to gel my hands before I connect the line to the connection shield. So you can see I'm going to take the main dialysis line, and that's the one that I'll connect to the catheter. So when you take the cap off the top, you'll notice that there's some fluid that comes out. That's okay, but then just connect the line to the connection shield. And at this point, if you feel like something's fallen on the floor, like the line's fallen on the floor, it's best again to throw everything away and just start again to avoid, as I said, peritonitis or any infection. So in a second, you'll see me take my catheter, which is attached to my stomach, and I'll take the mini cap up from the catheter, and that's also got iodine on it, again to sterilize your catheter. And you should never touch the blue part of your catheter, so the dark blue bit, as you can see, you should never touch that. And if you do find yourself touching that part, just going to pause it, then you must find your nurse or CAPD center in order to change your catheter line, which they can do quite easily. If you find that you touched the blue bit just before dialysis, then you probably shouldn't do dialysis and just wait till the morning and go to the CAPD center and they'll change your catheter for you. If you find that again your line, the main line of the dialysis machine falls on the floor or there's some dirt inside, then just throw everything away and start again. And if you feel nervous during this bit where you connect a catheter to the main line and you feel like your hand is shaking or you feel stressed or anything, just take a step back before you open your catheter and just take a deep breath into your stomach and then let it out again. And you'll notice that that can really help calm your nerves. I guess it's a good thing in general in just life. If you feel very nervous or stressed before something, just take a step back and take a deep breath, and you notice your nerves get a bit calmer, and you can just carry on with what you're doing. So now I've connected the catheter to the main line and open the catheter to let the fluid through. So I can press the green button and you can see that it says initial drain. So the initial drain is the fluid draining that I put in this morning. So from the purple extraneal bag, that's what's draining out at the moment. And you can see that it's increasing the amount of drain fluid that's coming out. This is normally, before I carry on, this is normally the most painful part of dialysis, and you may have heard of drain pain. And that's happening because your catheter is trying to suck out all the fluid that's in your stomach. And when there's no fluid left, it's just kind of you're trying to suck out the tissue inside of your stomach. And because that's happening, it's catching nerves inside of your stomach and touching those nerves, so it's going to cause some pain inside. But that pain will eventually go away after a couple of weeks, and everything inside your stomach and that area becomes numb. There is a process called tidal, which the nurses can program for you on your machine, where it leaves a little bit of fluid inside of your stomach so that the suction doesn't try to touch all the nerves, it tries to suck all the tissue out of your stomach. And then eventually you can go back to normal dialysis again once everything becomes numb inside. So I just thought this would be cool to show because you can see how the fluid is draining. So you can see the iodine coming out of the catheter and it's going down the line, and it's probably going to go into the cassette where it's going to get redirected to the drain, and it goes into the drain. So that's how the drainage works. You can't see the iodine every time, only at the beginning, because there's a little bit of iodine which comes out of the connection shield and your catheter, which gets taken into the lines at the beginning. And you can see this is at the end of the initial drain. So the first drain that I do, you can see that it's taken out 2.3 liters out of my stomach. And that's the kind of figure that you want to see. So you want to see more coming out of your body than that goes in. So I put in 2 liters this morning, and then by the evening, I should have more coming out of my body. So after this initial drain, it'll start to fill. So when it fills, that means the peritoneal dialysis fluid is going into my stomach for the next session of dialysis. So as you can see, it's filling and increasing the amount of fluid that's going in my stomach. And this is in the morning, so you can see after my dialysis is complete, you can see that there's still some fluid in the bag at the top, because that's the extraneal fluid that's about to go into my stomach. So that's going to be the last fill in the morning. And you can see all the bags have completely emptied of peritoneal dialysis fluid. And this is the drainage that came out during the night. So you can see it's about 10 to 15 liters of water into dialysis drain bags. You can see that it's slightly yellow and has a tinge of orange or yellow. That's because of that iodine which went into the bag at the beginning, and it's giving this sort of yellow tinge to the water, which is fine. The main thing is that the fluid is clear, and if it's cloudy, then again, make sure you call your nurse or doctor as soon as possible, because it probably means you have peritonitis. So again, the empty bags, and you can probably should have mentioned this at the beginning, but you can see the bag on the top of the machine is normally the highest strength bag. So if I had a green and yellow bag, then I put the large green bag on the top of the machine. And what happens is through the night, a little bit of the peritoneal dialysis fluid filters into that bag at the top, and then it slowly makes its way into your stomach during the night and peritoneum. This bag is normally heated, so there's like a heated plate underneath on the top of the machine, which heats the bag to your body temperature so that it doesn't cause any cramps in your body or pain. This is a normal process in dialysis to help with ultrafiltration and fluid, and also for vasodilation of your veins and arteries inside of your peritoneum to help with dialysis as well. So this is the last stage of dialysis. So in the morning, so after I've woken up, I'm just going to disconnect my catheter from the main line of dialysis, and then I can kind of continue with my day. So again, it's important to sanitize the area with the alcohol wipes. And then I'm going to take a mini cup and gel my hands before I do anything again. So you can do a double hand gel wash at the moment, because obviously you can't go downstairs to wash your hands because you're still connected to the machine. And I can open the gel cap. They can't see it, but it's there. And the gel cap has iodine inside of it. So again, it's important not to touch the inside of the mini cup. And the iodine is there again to sterilize your catheter when you put the mini cup onto the catheter. And make sure you gel your hands again before each step. So I can take my catheter with the connection shield, unscrew it, and put the gel cap on. Again, some people can get nervous before this bit, so you can take a deep breath before you do this bit. And make sure not to touch the inside dark blue bit of the catheter. And I think that's it really. So with all the equipment, so all your dialysis materials, all the bags that are empty now, and your drain bags, you can throw all that away. So you can't really reuse that anyway, or any of the lines. So it must be thrown away, and you have to get new equipment for the evening again. With the drain bags, you can empty those drain bags into your toilet or your bathtub or shower. Thank you for watching this 3-part series on how to do dialysis. Please watch parts 1 and 2 first so that you get a better idea of the process. I know a lot of what I've said may seem overwhelming and that there's a lot of things to do. However, when you come to do your own dialysis and through theory and practice at your CAPD centre, a lot of this will start to make sense. A couple of things to keep in mind are that first, when you do dialysis for the first time, it may take you a much longer time to set everything up than the next time that you do it. So the first time it may take you an hour to do everything, to take all your bags upstairs, set it up on the machine and everything, because obviously you want to be very safe with what you're doing. But the next time it will get much easier, and as you go through the process, it'll take much less time to do everything. So to prepare everything, it may only take you about 15 to 20 minutes, and then you can go on the machine later. Also, it's very important that you do not skip the steps of how to do dialysis and the preparation. So if you remember all those documents on the wall that I've kept, you must go through all those steps in order and make sure that you never skip any of the steps, because if you do, then you may be missing some really imperative parts where you may not have sanitized the area properly or clean your hands correctly. So that can lead to contamination and infection, leading to peritonitis, which is something that we never want to get. Another thing to remember is to always keep taking your medication. So even after your transplant has failed and you're back on dialysis, there'll still be a lot of medications to take. I take about 8 to 9 different types of medications every day, including those that are for immunosuppression still, blood pressure, any vitamin tablets. So it's important to keep taking them at the correct times as well. It's also important to maintain your diet and exercise. So making sure that you eat the correct foods for dialysis, so eating foods that are low in potassium, low in salt and cholesterol, to make sure that your dialysis will last a very long time, and so that you can keep doing dialysis for a prolonged period. The thing to keep in mind is to keep taking your laxatives as well. This cannot be mentioned enough and is something really important for dialysis. For me personally, I take osmotic laxative and an irritant laxative. So it's a laxative that irritates the lining of the intestine, and that's to ensure that you do not get constipation. Obviously, without getting too graphic, it'll help you may spend more time in the bathroom. However, it'll pay off in that you'll get much better sleep at night because your machine won't disturb you as much. So it'll really help you with any insomnia or sleeping difficulties. Finally, I wanted to say that none of this would even be remotely possible without my family and friends. My family especially, who stay with me through thick and thin and day in and day out. They help me take all these dialysis equipment upstairs, all the heavy bags and boxes and equipment, so that it's in the right place and at the right time when I need to prepare for dialysis. It's important that you use your family not in the way that for just financial and monetary gain, but just talk to them in times of emotional need and emotional turmoil, as they can just say, sometimes they can just say the right things to help you along the way, especially when you're feeling low or tired, or when you're thinking too much in your mind. It can also help just being around them. It can help you to lift up your mood and help you get through dialysis at times when you really don't want to do it. Thank you. Like, comment and subscribe.